studio, and I recently broke off first quarter of this year to start something I've been dreaming of doing for a while now. And we are a multifaceted studio that interweaves design and storytelling. Currently it's just myself, but the goal is to hire and have a boutique firm in brick and mortar here in the Northland. I do have a bunch of creative glass that I have on contract that work with me, so they're all distinctly different, so depending on the customer need, I can pull them in as needed. So, Richie told me to put it this way. Okay, whoops. Why? What am I doing? All right.
Keep going.
Okay, so why? I have an interior design background. I sat in the architecture and design field for 10 years, and I could not stand to watch another business lose ground because they weren't telling their story effectively. No, keep going. It's fast moving. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. Seriously, that's why I did this. I found myself seated at the table watching this beautiful design and architecture be drawn in front of my eyes, right? And then I would eagerly watch it come to life, but then something happened. I would witness a corporation struggle to achieve buy-in from their own people after move-in. It was chaos. It wasn't that the design was bad, it was that their culture was bad. And so by the time they arrived at our desk at the architecture firm, it was too late, because they were ready for us to design and not necessarily brand. And they obviously didn't think of an architect or an interior designer as a branding firm. So what do we really know about branding? A lot. So we had to, but convincing them of that, that's like a whole battle. I don't think I was interested in trying to turn architecture and design on its head, nor did it make sense. So I got to thinking, when a business has no story, there's no strong direction, right? We're going a bunch of different ways. The people in the office can't figure out what do we stand for, where are we going, and they start to disconnect. And they get to that 2-year point, and they're like, I'm on to the next thing because I'm not connecting to the brand. Which causes, obviously, attraction and retention issues, loss in the marketplace, a decrease in revenue, a lot of big headache. So I had to do something about it. I'm not one to sit there and watch things happen. So I jumped in, so I took this guy's advice. Pretty smart guy, right? Do something that you love. So I have always loved to write, and I obviously have a passion for good design, and I've been doing it for years, and it made sense. So Thread Studio was born. Maybe. And the mission really is to bridge the gap of poor branding through consistent, persuasive, and vibrant, dynamic storytelling. But you're like, what does that even mean? So first we start off with brand development. It's a really fun stage in the process. There's 3 stages. We have a go-to-market strategy, which is taking all that brand design and really strategizing about how you're delivering it to your community and capturing an audience. And then 3 is writing the content. So in brand development, you start with a brand immersion. And so what we do is we research trends and insights about your particular business and your goals. Then we have a very collaborative process together where we're listening and you're doing a lot of the talking. And we are figuring out what your story is to in turn create, if you don't already have, if it's a new brand, a name, a definition, what defines you, what's your story, what's your vocabulary. If somebody in your office is in the elevator pitching who you are, what are they saying, what are the words they're using? Consistency is key. And then your tagline, and then of course a visual identity if need be for a logo. And then if you don't have brand guidelines in place, I highly recommend it. When I first started in the industry, I started with a large manufacturer, and something they started us off with was telling us exactly how we were supposed to be within that brand. We can be our own brand, but we had to live their brand. And that was through how do you use the logo, what do your emails look like when they go out, consistency. And people can start to connect when they have consistency. What's your tone? How are you talking? And then we always knew what the strategy was for that business, where they were going in the future, so we could talk to that and we can engage. So we create that from all the brand design. And then we create a market strategy. One of the most important parts of the whole process is to really sit down and dig deep. A lot of people, they glaze over this and it's something that you have to measure and continue to come back to. We figure out who your target audience is, where are they, what are they doing, how do they act, what are their hobbies, how do we connect with them, how do we talk to them? And then we think about strategic partnerships. So think GoPro and Red Bull, two completely different products, but when they come together, they gain more market and they get to each other's audiences. So it's really about who do you have already in your network, or who can we reach out to that you can collaborate with. And then we come up with a marketing, advertising, and communication plan. All the templates, the outreach, what does that look like on your budget? What do we want to do month to month? What are the topics we're talking about? What are we communicating? And then obviously product integration. So if you are in a workplace and you want to take all these new brand standards, so you change your colors or your logo, and you want to integrate those, you can do that through furniture design, packaging, wayfinding graphics, signage, so on and so forth. And then it's about the content and delivery. A lot of people don't like to write. Luckily, I love to write, and I surround myself with people that love to write. And so we write the content for you. And it's all branded from the beginning brand stage. So social media content and creation. So not just necessarily putting out like something on Twitter and hoping people connect to it, but finding people to start conversations with that are gonna just continue to grab market for you. And then delivering that through email communications, online, and then press pitches. So writing articles for you on your behalf so that you can get into journals. I personally write for several journals here in Kansas City, so they're always looking for entrepreneurs that we need to interview and present. So that's an awesome place that I can start to put you at. And then extras, obviously freelance writing, research and development. I've worked on a couple of continuing education projects with large manufacturer. So I love any opportunity to get out there and research something that's completely outside my realm. Helps keep me kind of revved up about what's happening in the world. Media coverage, if you're having a large event and you want to maximize and you want to engage your clients that can't be there, we can have somebody on site that's there tweeting and talking about the trending conversation and putting that all out there for you. And then of course public speaking. Pat, I know you're here, but I presented to Pat's Northland Caps and a couple of other places on personal branding and branding, so any opportunity to talk, especially with high school students, and help get them interested in entrepreneurship is also something that we do. So, we're founded on the idea that a great brand is a great story. Hang on. And we believe that if a brand looks like a duck and swims like a dog, people will just trust it. So it's all about consistency and making sure that your story is being told in every facet of your business so that people can remain connected. And we help you do that by telling your story. So we have to ask, what's your story? Questions? Got mine. That's what we're up to. Yes?
This threads, because you have like a real strong emphasis on the social media aspect, because I think threads, I think like, you know, post threads, I like the brand.
Thank you. It's really about interweaving. So one of my large passions in life is textiles, and it's a major goal for me later to have some sort of interwoven happening design into Thread Studio. So that's why Thread Studio is that, and it also is threading your story together through media threads. So it all worked out.
So I'm familiar with branding firms and marketing agencies that supply kind of branding support for businesses that are looking to identify themselves. When I think about the very basics of any business between kind of pricing and product and performance, you're usually differentiating yourself on one of those things, if not on more than one. I know you have excellent product. I've seen it and witnessed that firsthand, probably on the performance and service side. But what would you say is your big differentiator? What people come to you for that they can't get somewhere else?
Writing, telling their story. I am really good at asking pointed questions and getting it out of you, and then taking all of what seems like chaos to you and arranging it to communicate it. A lot of people have a hard time. They're like, oh, I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm this, and I'm that. And so really helping them focus and narrow in and then tell a very compelling story and write it for them, because not a lot of people like to do that. So definitely the writing side. And then with a design background, it's easier to integrate.
So also follow-up question to that. So when you, as you kind of explore the market for who the right partner is for you, the right client, the right prospect. How do you prospect for, I mean, do you look for the people that in your community that are trying to do the most things and grab them and say, hey, let me better tell this story, or how do you approach that?
No, that's great. So right off the bat, I did a lot of work with, and I currently still work with several real estate groups and developers. And what I noticed there was a niche for was when the developers were coming and doing a large project, like a multifamily project, they were not pitching it very well to the city, if you will. So I would come up with the name of what that building would be, the color schemes, the logo, the graphics, and then all the way through to what it looked like, what it sounded like, and how it was advertised. So I create all their marketing and branding to go out and try to get people to come live there or work there, so on and so forth. So that's been my niche. And then small to medium-sized businesses who are really at that growth stage where they can't hire a marketing person dedicated to them, but they need the help to scale. So that has been a good niche as well. So yeah, I haven't really actively gone out and said, hey, your brand needs my help. It's just sort of been word of mouth and getting out there. That's a good question.